I'm Michelle Carroll. I'm Executive Director of ISSIP, and I'm going to quickly walk through our agenda for our single hour together. It's really a very fast-paced 3 to 5 minute update from a cross-section of ISSIP leadership. January is time for executive leadership transition for ISSIP. So in a minute, I'm going to introduce ISSIP's president for 2023, Utpal Mangla of IBM, who will thank our outgoing president, who I see on the call, Terry Griffith, and then share his vision for the organization for 2023 and beyond. Deborah Stokes with Dell Technologies, our new vice president, will share a report from the Strategy Council, which she co-chairs. And then Jim Sporer and I will do a report on key metrics of engagement activity, from conferences and books published to the speaker series, to the Discovery Summits, membership trends, and some infrastructure update. And then we'll hear directly from 4 key volunteer leaders of core focus areas for us going forward. Cecilia Lee, the editor-in-chief for ISSIP newsletter. Christine Oyang, who is the new lead for the overall ambassadors program. Harun Abu, who is leading the Now in Process Excellence in Service Innovation Awards. And Deborah Satterfield, who is leading the new Academic Industry Collaboration Initiative. And then Jim will put his other hat as board treasurer on to give us a financial report. And I'll wrap us up with current volunteer openings and calls to action. I was checking to see, do we have Utpal on the call? I'm not yet.
Yes, we do.
We do. Excellent. So with that, and we should, having walked through that agenda, then have some time for question Q&A, which our president Utpal will moderate. And with that, let me turn it over to the 2023 president of ISSIP, Utpal Mangla of IBM.
Thank you, Michelle. Good afternoon, team. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you, Michelle. Let me start by thanking Terry, a truly outstanding ISSIP president. Under Terry's leadership, ISSIP accomplished a lot. And team, I want to go through some of the accomplishments that we had under Terry's leadership. Number 1, 2 Future of Expertise Discovery Summits with over 200 registrants getting a copy of those white papers which were produced. Number 2, over 150 digital certificate recognitions to professionals issued during Terry's tenure. Number 3, around 15 organizations receiving Excellence in Service Innovation Awards. Number 4, 13 new books in the ISSIP Business Expert Press series, over 35 talks in the speaker series, 12 newsletters highlighting ISSIP activities. And I am an IBMer with sales numbers, opportunity numbers, tracking numbers. So you must have seen I tend to be a little quantitative. And so I gave those numbers, but those are testament to Terry's leadership. Amazing leadership, Terry. Thank you. Last but not the least, Terry also did an amazing job in her leadership role last year. She hired Michelle, our executive director. And so I want to thank Michelle also for her contributions in 2022 with ISSIP, considering the fact that in her role as an executive director, Michelle's been with us for less than a year. She has already shown her excellence everywhere. And so Michelle, also thank you to you.
Thank you.
A little bit about myself, team, as I take over this role. I think many of you know me. as past ISSIP vice president in 2022 under Terry's leadership, and as the new president this year, I come from IBM. IBM has a long history of supporting ISSIP and the Service Science Management and Engineering Initiative. Jim has been a torchbearer in IBM for that, and it requires no mentioning that IBM was one of the early founders of this particular program. In terms of my vision, what I want to make sure is let's work together to build on the foundation of the past while growing engagements of the future. It's very important for individuals as well as institutional memberships alike, and at the same time, co-creating a vision for ISSIP 2023 and beyond. In very simple terms, I look at 3 things. If I can do those in 2023, it would be amazing. Number 1, as I said, building on the strong foundation we have and taking it to the next level. Number 2, grow our engagement, grow our footprint with new members, but also clarity on what ISSIP stands for. What's our value? What are the values we provide? And why should members come to us? That stickiness, the more we can do it this year, it would be amazing. And then number 3, driving more institutional memberships. We need some money, some funding to do core stuff. And we cannot just rely on the founding members because things change, priorities change. We need to look for new memberships, institutional memberships to drive our ISSIP over here. So with that team, really excited, looking forward, and I want everybody to be proactive and not be shy in giving your input. And this is your community, and whatever you need to do, don't need a permission. Let's proceed, progress, and get it done. Back to you, Michelle.
Thank you. Thank you, Paul. With that, let's turn it over to our new Vice President, Deborah Stokes.
Thank you, Michelle. I have to say, I'm absolutely thrilled at the opportunity to have a more active engagement role in ISSIP going forward. And I'm really, really looking forward to having you, Paul, as our president, because I feel like with his leadership, I'll definitely learn a lot and look forward to how he can help mentor me in preparing for the role next year. You'll have, behind Terry, we've got some big shoes to fill there. But as chair of the Strategy Council, we had a meeting in the fall. First thing is to introduce new members of our Strategy Council, Nathan and Nicole. We had a fascinating discussion that touched on points from how do we increase our membership and participation to what are some deep dive technology topics that we would like to do. So in summary of those topics and ideas, we come up with 4 buckets that we think all of those ideas will fit under. And these would be the topics that we would look to talk about in our upcoming roughly spring and fall discovery summits, where again, we bring together a large number of groups to hear some expert opinions and talking on some very specific areas. So one would be future of, and the 3 dots are there because there's future of education, there's future of work, there's future of home. And so many topics that align with there, particularly the influence that AI might have on what some of these future learnings look like. A second topic is around what we call tech for good. How are we as individuals in this world contributing back not only to our local community, but the global community as well? And that's where something like sustainability fits in and aligns very well. We were talking about innovation in a hybrid world. You know, we've all gone through a lot of changes over these last 3 years. What are the kinds of things that we should be looking at? Again, AI is a big topic there, but how do we innovate when we're not all together all the time or have some specific times that we can meet and talk with each other? And then another topic that we talked about were potentially what we call technology deep dives. You know, who can we bring in to help us talk about what are all of the theories and consequences of quantum computing? You know, is it real? When will it be real? And how active will we be? And I think we've definitely got some companies like IBM and Dell that are working on the quantum technologies that are already collaborating together. And we can pull some of those experts in to do some deep dives on that if we select that as an option. One of the things that we're looking at as a totally new idea is that perhaps sometime in between the Discovery Summits, we invite some of the, what I would call those technology provocateurs, those experts around services innovation who can come in and tell us what are some of the things that we should be looking at and doing, what makes them be experts in this area, what are some of the directions that they could see services innovation going in the future. And you know, I have to confess, we do have a possible candidate for the first one of those sessions, because I can think of no one better suited to do that kind of thought provocateurism than our own Jim Spoor. So Jim, stay tuned. We'll be following up for some dates there. But I think it's very important to also reflect back on what Utah was saying. We want ISSIP to be relevant. We want to make sure that we're following up and doing the things that people find that are useful. But at the same time, we have to show what is it that we are really the best at? What differentiates us from other associations, from some other institutes, some other activities going on out there? How do we make a difference? How do we really demonstrate the strengths that we have from the ISSIP community? And that's going to result in, you know, to you, Paul's point, not only are we going to increase our membership, increase our institutional participation, but that means our members will become more engaged, that they'll be more active, there'll be more people contributing, there'll be more volunteers. So if we can nail some of these directions that we want to go in, as we've been articulating, then I think we have a really exciting 2023 to look forward to. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deb. And moving over to himself, Jim Spoor, for the activity report.
Yeah, happy to provide it. And Deb, happy to help out in that speaker series you're planning to create. So welcome, everyone. I'm Jim Spoor. I'm a retired IBMer and also one of the board of director members of ISSIP that's on the call today. I see two other board of director members that were there at the very beginning of ISSIP back in 2012, Haluk Demirkan of Amazon and University of Washington, as well as Amar Reyes, who's a distinguished engineer at Cisco. Before I get into these ISSIP activities, I really do want to just thank Terry Griffith for being one of the most excellent ISSIP presidents I've seen in all of the years of ISSIP presidents. And for people who don't know Terry, I urge you to follow her on Twitter and social media because she's doing some amazing work in AI and productivity. She's an author. There's so many good things I could say about Terry, but I just want to say thank you, Terry. You're amazing and you've really contributed so much. And I know you'll continue to contribute to ISSIP. I also want to welcome my colleague, Utpal Mangla, from IBM. Utpal, you're actually the third president that we've had in these 11 years from IBM. And I'm just delighted to be able to continue having such a great connection with IBM through you. And I do also want to just share my congratulations to Deb Stokes for being our new VP. Deb, I'm pretty sure you've been helping out ISSIP since the very beginning as well in various roles, and so excited to see you now in the VP role this year. And like you said, learning from Terry and Utpal about all the activities of being president in 2024. And Michelle, I can't say enough good things about you, and thank you for being our new ISSIP executive director. And yeah, Terry, I'll do that as well. So let's just very briefly, I want to talk about some ISSIP engagement measures that we have in 2022. We have recognitions, awards, conferences, books, and speaker series. And it was a very good year, as Paul has already said. But I also want to, as I go through each of these, I want to emphasize one super important thing. ISSIP depends on volunteers. Every single thing I'm going to report on, somebody in ISSIP created, started, nurtured, recruited others, built it into something that we can report on today. And if you think about things that we're not doing to help ISSIP members or ISSIP institutional members, maybe that's a volunteer opportunity for you. And you'll certainly get support from Michelle, myself, Utpal, Deb, all of us here, Haluk, Amar, if you want to be that kind of volunteer and create new things for ISSIP. So I want to shout out to Haluk Demirkan when I talk about the fact that we've given out more than 391 digital credentials so far with ISSIP, because in 2019, Haluk took the time to actually create our badger.com account and our recognition program. And just this last year, you can see we had over 157 digital credentials. So I'm sure this will just keep growing and growing in the years ahead. So thank you again, Haluk, for creating that recognition program. In the Excellence Awards category, this is something that Ralph Badinelli started in 2018. Ralph was there at the beginning of ISSIP, a board member, helped create our Service Innovation Excellence Award program. In 2022, we had 3 winners. We have winners for innovation to business, innovation to society, innovation to innovation. And then we had a large number of great things that we also gave out distinguished recognition for as well. And you can see the link there on your screen, and we'll put it into the chat in a bit. But the Excellence Awards for 2023 is still open. So there's still a few days. It takes about an hour to put in a service offering that's very innovative that you want to highlight. There's a press release that comes out about it, opportunities to share with the ISSIP community more and more about these Excellence Awards. So thanks, Ralph Badinelli, for starting the Excellence Award program. Now, conferences, I want to thank the ambassadors. As I look through the list of people on the call, I see multiple ambassadors. I'm not going to call each of you out, but I will say that Christine Young, another colleague from IBM, stepped up as our volunteer lead ambassador this year and has really been helping us develop the ambassador program. And we had over 14 conferences that ambassadors helped us with in this past year. 3 of them gave out ISSIP Best Paper Awards. So the best papers, some of them by students, some by faculty, some by industry people, could get digital credentials. And I'll just highlight the one that's coming up in February 15th and 17th is the International Explorations of Service Science. So definitely click on our ISSIP.org 2023 upcoming conferences and see if there's some there that you're excited about. But also, if you're a member who isn't an ambassador yet and there is a conference you would like to highlight to the ISSIP community, that's certainly an opportunity to become an ambassador. The next step is the book series. This is something that Haluk and I started in 2016. This past year, we had 13 new books on a range of topics, everything from digital transformation to human-centered innovation, just a tremendous range of book topics. And there's a link there if you want to go out and check out. We've had over 67 books. When we started this, we partnered with Business Expert Press. That's the expert and concise books written by professionals. So if you're one of the people on this in the ISSIP community who's always thought, I want to have a book, I want to have a book, you've got no excuse. We make it easy. We can talk you through it. We can help you make it happen. Sometimes industry people take their blogs and turn each blog or the main ones into a chapter. We've done it lots of different ways, and it's amazing how having a book out there gives you something as a service innovation professional that you can share with others to help them see your particular perspective. And then we've got our speaker series, and this is where I want to give a big shout out to Cecilia Lee, who does our monthly newsletters, a wonderful job with our monthly newsletters. And Cecilia alone spent a good a good portion of our ISSIP volunteer time in 2022 interviewing ambassadors. And if you haven't watched those videos that Cecilia created, they're all on the ISSIP YouTube channel. And Cecilia was very excited about interviewing each of them and highlighting just the exceptional innovation work that they're doing. So thank you, Cecilia. And with that, I will end my portion and send it back to Michelle for the next part of our update.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That is so much activity and so helpful to have it in context for all of us. I very much, and let me too thank you, Terry. You're wonderfully on the top left of my screen. You're such a pleasure to work with, and I'm grateful you thought of me for this role, and appreciate the whole team that it has been to work with. Our broad goals in 2022 were very similar to what Paul has said we'll be leveling up on, right, going forward. It was to clarify the value proposition, build awareness of ISSIP, and grow membership, specifically thinking institutional memberships, as Paul mentioned. Toward clarifying value proposition, building awareness, you've seen, hopefully, you see here on the top right, our website. Now our mission, and behind me here, behind Jim, you see who it is we are, crisply popping off the homepage of ISSIP.org, right? And we continue to work on that and work to refine it. And we've been gradually building out, I call it, it's huge progress on our communications platform, right? The core central platform, which is our website, and very much a work in process as we continue to update sections to better reflect what's currently going on and the power that is ISSIP. As we engage with institutional members, with existing members, with all of you in calls like these, right? To build awareness, we started a press release series, what I call a drip format, right? We started the drip with announcing me coming aboard in the spring, followed very soon after with the announcement of the Excellence in Service Innovation Awards, right? And then more leadership appointments. In August, it was about Christine Oyang leading the ambassadors program, and Haroon when he stepped up to lead the awards process. We did an entire integrated campaign with the emails, this press release on the Discovery Summit, what the topic would be, future of expertise, the speakers, and did social media tie-ins with the speakers, reaching out to their networks. Really very effective and impactful. Toward the end of the year, we put out a release of 2 of those books. We helped co-promote Martin Fleming's Breakthrough book in October, and in September, Jim Spore's co-authored Service in the AI Era. So that was 7 press releases, each complemented with social media, mostly LinkedIn, and got, especially the appointments, got thousands of views and dozens of likes and good conversation online. So good progress. And then here on membership, in the difficult world year that was 2022, ISSIP membership grew. Individual members were up 6% to 1,658 at the end of the year. And toward institutional membership, we established new pricing tiers to create new entry points for different types and sizes of organizations. And you can see that on ISSIP.org. You go to About Us. The membership page has that to download, what the new pricing tiers are and what the benefits are of institutional membership. And we've begun managing that institutional member development as the funnel you see here, which is not meant to be readable. It's to show you there are quite a few prospects in the high end of the funnel, which we're developing over time. And we're working with existing members to really articulate the value it's been for them, and working together to make sure we continue to build that value. And while doing this, just doing that, these processes, establishing infrastructure for managing those processes, right? And ownership and accountability, that's how we're going to be able to scale the organization. While doing that foundational work, so that we can fly as an organization. We continue to fly the plane, meanwhile, the regular operations. We did run the 2 discovery summits. It was already mentioned the metric. So Jim led the one in June. I organized the one in September. Together, they were involved 18 really excellent, high impact, high profile speakers, more than 200 registered, robust interchange in the chat during the events, and good Slack conversations afterward. Really a good success. We fielded a survey asking the marketplace, what is the future of expertise? And then with findings from that survey and from the insights shared on the day, published 2 white papers. Jim Spoor authored the first, and Amar Reyes of Cisco stepped up to author the second. Oop. Oop. And to infrastructure, I wanted to just share also, because Jim never toots his own horn, but Jim and Stephen Spoor together did some really good work automating the processes for generating and distributing digital credentials, and the very international managed across time zone weekly speaker series, right? And to Jim's point already made, ISSIP is volunteer managed. So critical to scaling the organization is that we recruit and recognize and inspire the people who are passionate about and able to lead and shape future ISSIP. So 6 months ago, we ended our presentation to you, the progress report, with these calls of immediate need. Needed somebody to author that white paper that Amar Reyes stepped up and authored. Said we needed nominations for vice president for this year, who will serve as president the following year. And we had an immediate need for a university, an academic industry collaboration lead, and someone to handle the service awards program because Ralph was retiring. And the immediate response of top caliber personnel really speaks to the value of this organization as a professional association of the folks managing the change, caring about service innovation. So we've mentioned that so Amar stepped up. You've met Deb Stokes, and I want to also just say that candidate slate was so robust that the other 2 candidates, Nicole Reinecke and Nathan Timon, are now serving on the Strategy Council, which advises leadership and the president particularly. And then for the academic and industry collaboration, Deborah Satterfield has stepped up, the department chair and professor of design at Cal State U in Long Beach. Haroon Abu with Bell and Howell is leading the now underway Innovation Awards process and team. Christine Oyang, who Jim mentioned, distinguished engineer of IBM, also our ambassador to the IEEE, is additionally now the director for the overall ambassadors program. And all those stepped up in 2022, and in 2021, Cecilia Lee of OneWeb is the editor-in-chief of the ISSIP newsletter. So let me turn it over to you, Cecilia, to go ahead and give your, into each of these 4, now I'm just kind of left to right. Let's do your brief updates for your area of accountability.
I didn't know that I was on mute. Thank you, Michelle. Hi, everyone. Cecilia here. I'm based out of London, so it's pretty late here, like 8:30 now. But yes, so like Upal, Jim, and Michelle talked about building awareness of ISSIP as one of the top priorities for this year. I do believe that the newsletter is one of the important touch points to enhance and build the awareness of ISSIP amongst our prospective members as well. So in order to do so, I want the content of the newsletter to be more informative this year. But at the same time, also, I want it to be the place where active knowledge exchange and relationship building opportunities emerge. So in order to make this happen, I really need active participation from the ISSIP ambassadors, such as co-creating the content, So I published the content calendar for this year. That's a really tentative plan. We can always change that. So I published that in the newsletter for this month, which was sent out last Wednesday, 18th of January. So if any of you would love to contribute to the content as a guest article, or would like to be the speaker on the panel discussion, please reach out to me at content@isup.org, content@isup.org, and I will reach out to you with more details. And then also, I'm more than welcome any suggestions or any feedback, so please feel free to reach out to me anytime. Thank you.
Thank you, Cecilia. Christine? And actually, Cecilia, would you drop that in the chat? That'd be great.
Sure.
And thank you. It's looking so good.
Thank you, Michelle. Hi, everyone. My name is Christine Ouyang. In case you don't know me yet, I'm the ISSIP Ambassadors Lead. I'm a distinguished engineer at IBM, but I've been working with Jim for a long period of time already. So then what I love about ISSIP is the passion that I see from all of you, right? From Terry, Michelle, Jim, and all the ambassadors. So just to give you an update on what we have done in 2022, we had 2 ambassadors meetings. Because of the different time zones, I break the meetings up into 2 sessions. And then the first session, over 30-some people joined. And then the next one, over 20-some people joined, right? So altogether, we have about 50-some active ambassadors, right? So we pretty much got hold of everybody. Only a handful was not able to make it because of the conflicts they had. Because I set it up in early October, which could be a Jewish holiday for certain folks. So they were not able to join, but it's okay. So what I really what I was really happy about was the positive energy I saw at those meetings, right? People are very active, and they really believe that service is the most important area. Actually, if you think about it, service encompasses many different technologies, and then to certain folks, services innovation for sustainability is a huge, hugely important topic, right? So they wanted to come together, and work on something, right? So it's to me, it's a very a good opportunity to see what the ambassadors are thinking about, especially what they have in mind to align with their,
I lost
Christine, you're on mute.
Oh, did it just happen?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, maybe I tapped to the wrong tab or something. Yeah, all I'm saying is, yeah, we would like to have more these kind of joint activities, events, meetings, right? And to grow our ISSIP memberships, right? And at the same time, as Cecilia mentioned, she started this new newsletter series, and a lot of the content the ambassadors could be able to actually provide, right? And again, I'm working with Cecilia on that front as well.
Very good.
So back to you, Michelle. Any questions?
Actually, let's go ahead and go through Haroon and Deborah, and then we'll see if there's questions after Jim and me.
Oh, sure.
Thank you, though.
Okay, thank you. My name is Haroon Abu. I'm the Vice President of Digital Data and Analytics here at Bell & Howell, headquartered in Research Triangle Park, Raleigh-Durham. ISSIP is rather new to me. I got introduced to it through Terry, through Hawaii conference, where I was presenting with Gerhard from Aachen University. I think you know him. Some of you know him. I also teach at NC State University as adjunct to their MBA program. So I'm kind of in between, you know, with academics as well as a professional in the service industry. So it's very close to my heart. So I'm very excited to be part of this this team. As far as the running the awards committee, I think we have until the end of January for the awards submissions. We have few nominations right now, but once at the end of January, we have a team. As a team, we'll go through the submissions and select the winners. I think that should be coming out by the end of February, I believe. And then after that, I'm sure there are a few steps that we will go through before the announcement, and each of the winners will be receiving their certificates and flags. So again, this whole process is new to me, so we'll figure this out. Once again, you know, very glad to meet you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Haroon. So there is a link in chat, y'all, for Haroon's call to action, putting in your nominations. And they'll be judging throughout February and awards in the spring. Very good, exciting. And there have been some great nominations already. January is only a few days longer, y'all. Thanks, Haroon. Deborah?
Hello, thank you. My name is Deborah Satterfield, and I am the department chair at Cal State Long Beach. And you might be thinking, what does chair of the design department have to do with any of this? And I have to tell you the truth. About 2 months ago, AI rocked our world. Okay. And so everything in education and everything in design and everything in basically in service innovation is literally transforming before our eyes. And as a person working in education, I'm extremely excited to take on this new role and work with everybody, because now more than ever, there's a critical need to engage our youth in our future. And they are hungry for the knowledge. And many of them, basically what they lack is the opportunity to meet people like everybody in this organization. And I come from a minority serving institution. 1 in 5 is homeless and 1 in 5 are food insecure. And yet they are brilliant. We have 100,000 applicants for about 10,000 spaces at my university alone. And so opportunity to meet people in key technology sectors like this is so exciting, so critical. And I came to this through meeting Jim Sporer several years ago through HSSE, the Human Side of Service Engineering. And we have long had quite an affinity for each other's work and really been a springboard. So we've had wonderful discussions this fall, both with Jim and myself, and also with Carol, Michelle Carroll, trying to work out the mechanics of what will be the integration between this academic piece. And I think there's some exciting opportunities. So you might think about, would you like to infuse some of your knowledge on students who do not have access to persons like yourself? Would that be exciting to join a project, to come in as a speaker? Some of the other things are allowing students to come into the ISSIP world. So I think that back and forth is something I'm excited about. This is brand new. So just like some of the other speakers, I'm new to this organization, but also have been very appreciative of the organization for years. So I'm excited about defining this role. And I may reach out to many of you and say, hey, would you like to engage with the academic collaboration piece? And what would be your ideal engagement or collaboration? What would that look like? So I might have a couple Zooms, I might send some emails, and please email me if you think this sounds exciting to you and you want to be part of the future contributors to ISSIP in the students that will be coming into the world, let me know. What I sometimes say is that in education, we make the people that make magic happen. And so if you want to help make some of those people, just look me up and I would be thrilled to talk to you about what we've got going on. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Deborah. Wow, fantastic. So this is what you can see why we're all excited when looking at these pictures, hearing these folks. This is the energy and the capability set that stepped up when we put out call for volunteers. And hey, precisely on time. It's 12:40. Very nice. So with that, and I went the wrong way, let's move on to the other key metric, the money. Jim?
Okay, yeah, I was just zooming my the link to the Slack if people want to join the Slack. And if you aren't a member of ISSIP Slack, please do. You can privately send me your email address and I'll just ping you off a quick invite because it's a great place to have conversations with our volunteers, our great set of volunteers. So thank you so much, everyone, Cecilia, Christine, and Haroon, as well as Deborah Satterfield. Thank you so much for your efforts. Quickly, just the treasurer's report. We have almost 100,000 in our operating checking account and about 20,000 in our foundation, our ISSIP foundation. And please feel free to contact me if you want to know more about the treasurer report. And back to you, Michelle.
Well, that was indeed speedy. Thank you very much. And that takes us to a wrap up. So the big question is in that first, well, and actually the link is in the chat for the Service Excellence Awards. And as to institutional members, think about those awards. And let me just ask everyone on this call, who are the innovators, the change makers, the thought leaders, the transformational leaders, and people making it happen in service innovation that you know? And please encourage them to nominate themselves, their teams, their companies, their projects for a Service Excellence in Innovation Award. And please refer them to me to talk about whether we might partner as institutional members within ISSIP. So that's the first two big ones. For volunteers, in this month slot, we have the following openings. For the Discovery Summit, when that gets topic locked down, we need to clarify who the lead is on it, leading the event, who would like to author the white paper, working in conjunction with, who would be great speakers in service innovation in the array of topics Deb shared. There are always opportunities to serve as ambassador to another ISSIP ambassador to another organization that you're passionate about and would like to collaborate between. And as Deb had said, what excites you and her and the entire, what would collaboration look like for you? Talk to Deborah about that. New kind of posts, the next new lead for a specific function we'd like to recruit for is a lead for ISSIP conferences. Which conferences should we be sponsoring papers at? So someone to coordinate all of that and the ISSIP presence at the conferences. We have a need for marketing support, social media, write a wiki page for us. And on this one, I'm excited to say Terry Griffith says she will work with the volunteer team on this to manage the social media presence management and posting process. And we'd like to have someone for coordinating our membership onboarding. We've had several hundred new members in the last couple of years. So I've started a process of welcoming as they sign up, welcoming, giving that survey. You know, what brings you, what would excite you, what would you like to be involved in, and what do you bring to the table? That survey is a link in the chat. Please take that survey. But someone to manage that onboarding process and help us. Filling the funnel of institutional membership, making sure we're delivering value to individuals and to members. So those are the open slots. And with that, how have we done for time? we do have a little time for Q&A. Are there questions already in chat that someone else can point me to, or any questions now? I'm paging back through questions.
And Michelle, I didn't see any in the chat yet.
Okay.
I have a question.
Sure.
Shall we say questions or comments? And do feel free to put your.
Okay. Thank you for the great session. This is Felix Omondi. Felix Omondi is from. I'm joining in from Kenya, Nairobi.
Hello.
So I'm actually impressed about how the presentation is, and actually I'd like to find out to involve myself into one of the activities within the group. Let me say even ambassador, because actually when I received the invitation, I was like, wow, this is I have an invitation, so to mean I'm recognized somewhere. So how could I go about it? Because I want to build up my my career, even in terms of education wise also. So being that I'm in the department, I did my degree in accountancy and financial management, and I also wanted to develop more. So how can I get involved in such a great platform to build up myself?
Well, we thank you for patching in. You also participated in the Discovery Summit, I remember. So just the engagement is a wonderful start. And thank you for patching in from Kenya.
Yeah, and I would just add, Felix, I don't see you in the ISSIP LinkedIn group. So if you do have a LinkedIn profile, if you join the ISSIP LinkedIn group, and I'll scroll back and get the, for everyone, the easiest way for us to stay connected, I think, is when you join either the ISSIP Slack or the, oops, I'm sorry, I'm copying, pasting the wrong thing there. I'll have to get the link to our LinkedIn group. But when you join the LinkedIn group, it is a lot of the announcements, a lot of the things that have been discussed today in this call are also posted. So there's lots of good reminders in the ISSIP LinkedIn group, and I'll post that shortly in the chat for you, Felix. And I think that would be a great place to start.
Thank you. I am actually looking forward for such a link so that I can see how I get myself in.
Very good.
Do we have our survey in the chat? I actually don't see it on my notes as I'd expected. Let me see if I can pull it.
Yeah, we have that, Michelle. It's been
Okay.
posted into the chat, and we've actually had two of the people on the call take it since we started.
Thanks all, and
So,
thanks to everyone for these wonderful comments in the chat. Appreciate it.
oh, thank you, Stephanie. I think Stephanie August just reposted the survey link. So people who haven't taken that yet, it takes 2 minutes. It's just got like 3 very simple questions and a nice note from Michelle with gratitude for everybody's support in 2022. And then just 3 simple questions. Thanks, Stephanie, again for reposting that.
I think we can go ahead and wrap up. I really appreciate very much the feedback. I saw the question about, actually, let me ask others because I'm not aware where. Let me see who asked it about STEM. Stephanie August, where might one find an overview of ISSIP's activities related to STEM higher education? Is there such a thing, or is this one of those opportunities to volunteer?
Oh, you can find that. You can find that in the ISSIP publications because there's been several NSF grants that have been given that explore STEM education from an ISSIP perspective. So there are a couple of white papers there, and I'll repost that link shortly into the chat. I'm looking for it right now.
Team, let me also say the following before we close. If there are any questions, any clarification needed, any suggestion you want to do one-on-one, feel free to shoot an email to me anytime, or to Michelle, or to Jim, or to our vice president. Feel free to Deb, send it to any one of us so that we can help and we can do the right things for our community.
Thank you, Paul. And my email is there. I can forward on for you. And if you're interested in volunteering, there are the 2 emails there.
Exactly.
Well, let me do a shout out then. I'm not sure if any of my academic colleagues are still on the call, but Michelle mentioned my interest in supporting our social media efforts because I know that's such a fantastic area for a class on either social media marketing, marketing in general, digital design. If any of my academic colleagues have a class like that, we are very excited about how we might engage with you to offer, project opportunities ongoing. So I'll leave that out there, and please get in touch with me, get in touch with Deb Satterfeld. Looking forward to it.
Thank you, Terry. With that, thank everyone for showing up today. This was a good attendance, and it really is engagement that makes us be a community of value for everybody. The more of you engaging, the better value for all of us. So thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Jim.